You guys can look at my shirt and you can probably figure out that I have one regret in life is that I never got to earn it. I never actually got to serve in the IDF. I got this shirt that I'm wearing today from a Golani Brigade soldier at a Golani graduation event in Machane Yehuda Shuk in Jerusalem. The guy literally gave me the shirt off his back. Which leads me to talk about what I want to talk to you guys about today, which is something that's really bothering me. What's bothering me is the fact that we Jews, because of the exile, we have gotten into what's called sheep mode. We are sitting around, actually, we're not sitting around, we're running around, yelling at local politicians, yelling at organizations, both Jewish and non Jewish, begging and pleading, leaders of certain groups that, are attacking us, or begging and pleading for their leaders, to come forward and to condemn everything and to take action and to, do all these righteous things. And we don't realize that after 2,000 years, we still don't realize that the only ones we can rely on are ourselves and Hashem. That doesn't mean we have to stand back and just pray and to God and hope that things, that God just like fixes all our problems. No, we have to do what's called hishtadlus, I guess, human effort. And then, as we say, God helps those who help themselves. And I'm just talking to some friends of mine. I had a friend of mine tell me, we need a strong diaspora. We need a lot of Jews to live in America to lobby so that politicians and leadership and, with all our money and all our influence to lobby so that we have a safe Israel. And I asked the question, do you know anything about 1967, the war in 67? What country helped Israel the most? I can tell you that it wasn't America. It was the Czech Republic, or Czechoslovakia at that time. Why did they help Israel? Not out of altruism, because they hated the Soviet Union, they hated the Russians, and the Soviet Union was supporting the Arabs. So the Czechs were like, here's our chance to stick it to the Russians in a small way that we can. And so you realize from that there are really no allies that Israel has, real allies. There are only interests. And you could say, well, Trump, he just came in, he's got this Jewish family, all these Jews in his family and this and that. That's a whole other discussion. But ultimately, if you're telling me that you want to run around and you want to use these like money-sucking organizations like AIPAC, and I'm not even going to name any more of these organizations. I don't want to get on their, so to speak, hit list, so to speak. But I'll tell you, friends, those days are coming to an end. The days where we are relying on the Gentiles to help us are coming to an end. We see that. That doesn't mean you don't have to like live side by side with your neighbors or respect people of different cultures and races and all that stuff. No, that's not what that means. I just saw a message somebody posted today on WhatsApp, all the messages that were sent by employees of the Siyum Hashas yesterday in MetLife Stadium, saying how respectful all the Jews were. Everybody said thank you, this and that. That doesn't mean you can't live side by side and coexist with people. But when push comes to shove, to run around and ask people to help us as a nation, as a collective, as a group, friends, I'm telling you. And my same friend who mentioned this whole strong diaspora thing, he said, we were always a protected minority, a protected faith, a protected minority, protected group. And I said, I don't know if you know anything about Jews who lived in the Arab world. They were protected. They were a protected minority. And they were what's called dhimmis, second-class citizens protected under Islam, until they weren't. Until we started our own state in the midst of this whole region. We defeated their brethren, and we set up our own state where they thought that the Jews were, no longer the chosen, inheritors of Israel and all this kind of stuff. They were, cast. They were condemned by God. We set up our own state, and these people went berserk. They went berserk in Iraq. They went berserk in Syria, in Libya, in Tunisia, in Morocco, in Egypt. They went berserk on us. And now we realize, friends, that ultimately we really have no friends in the world. We really, really have no friends, true friends in the world. All we have is ourselves and Hashem. And really the only solution, listen, I'll tell you guys, I'm personally, my belief that right now, at this particular time in history, that Jews should start exploring moving to Israel. But if you're not in that consciousness yet, if you're not in that realm, if you're not thinking about it up here, and if you're gonna stay here, if you insist on staying here, don't turn yourself into a sheep. You have to become a wolf. You have to arm yourself. I'm not saying, walk around with a gun and wave a gun in front of, people's faces. But if you guys run a shul, I'm sorry, you got to arm yourself. And what I mean by that is figure out a way how to have a weapon on you physically, on your holster, not in an office somewhere. Because these things that you guys saw from the situation in the church in Texas, this thing ends in 5 or 6 seconds. And Texas, you're, open carry state, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they interviewed that guy. He said the thing was over in 6 seconds. He goes, I had the training and I neutralized in 6 seconds. Friends, there's an idea in Judaism that you can learn. It's called Chokhmah of the Goyim, the wisdom of the nations. Goyim is not a derogatory term. It just means nations, right? So we can learn from the wisdom of the nations. You can watch YouTube videos about how to actually, how to do marketing, how to do this, how to do that, motivation, workout tape, whatever it is. You can also learn how to protect yourself. And you know who's cornered the market on that? The wonderful people of Texas. Okay? People are saying, the IDF is coming in and they're training police how to harass blacks. I'm sorry, but it ain't no IDF training anybody here. I mean, we have it a little bit, we have Krav Maga and this and that. Ladies and gentlemen, Krav Maga, if somebody comes into your shul, God forbid, with a gun or a machete, ain't no Krav Maga gonna stop that. Ain't no Krav Maga. You need good old, I don't know, Smith & Wesson, good old Glock. So to everybody who's saying we need a strong, I'll tell you something. My friend said we need a good diaspora, a good amount of Jews to stay in America to lobby for Israel so that Israel will be safe. 80% of American Jews either don't care about Israel, or if they do care about Israel, they're severely misguided in how to, in terms of how Israel is supposed to defend itself. Their ideas, we saw from the Oslo Accords. We saw for the last 20 years of this lobbying from American Jews, and now we see it from J Street and groups like, New Israel Fund, J Street, and all this stuff. Well, New Israel Fund's in Israel, but J Street primarily. And, the fact that 80% of Jews vote Democrat. And now we have people like Bernie Sanders, and people like, I don't know, and then who's in cahoots with Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. You want these people to lobby for Israel? You think these people are going to lobby for Israel in the right way? Friends, I mean, I don't know what you're thinking. For those of you who think that, I really don't know what you're thinking. The only entity that can help Israel is two entities: Israel itself and Hashem. That's it. Right now we have President Trump, right? But President Trump, he's not eternal. Even if you say, well, maybe he's going to get reelected. Okay, he'll get reelected. He'll be in for 4 more years. Okay, who comes after him? And we're just going to sit around and we're just going to pray that hopefully America will elect. I'll tell you something, folks. I'll make a separate video on this. If you guys, I was watching a video today about how all the, obviously they have these compilations about how all these celebrities and all these politicians and all these commentators were joking how Trump wouldn't win. And it's a whole video. It's like a 7-minute video. All these, over right before the election, over the few months right before the election, how they were just making fun of Trump and saying how he's not going to win, saying how he'll never win, he's never going to be the president, he's never going to be the Republicans were saying he was never going to be the nominee. Ladies and gentlemen, you realize that the president of the United States that America has now, he was sent And I agree. I totally agree with. I think it was Rick Perry that said this, and Mike Huckabee said this. This person was sent by Hashem to put forth certain machinations to bring the Jewish people back to Israel. He wants the Jewish people to go back to Israel. He's telling us what's yours is yours. Like Esav told Yaakov, he's telling us, the Golan is yours, Judea and Samaria is yours, Jerusalem's yours. I'm going to put the the embassy there. What's yours is yours. Just take it. Take it already. You guys won in 67. What are you waiting for? You've been sitting around 52 years, 53 years now, and just nothing. Totally ambiguous as you run around negotiating with these guys for peace and these guys for peace, and everybody's wondering, should you even be in the land? And you're wondering why we have these organizations like If Not Now and J Street and all these people who are like, well, we're occupying this. We're not supposed to be there. And then the media go, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, let's just own our stuff. Let's own our stuff. Let's stop, begging other people to help us. I'm just watching a video today. Somebody posted, it's like all the attacks in Crown Heights and this like poor downtrodden Hasidic music playing in the background. And I'm thinking to myself, are we these exiled Jews, these like downtrodden exiled Jews who are still being like chased around by the Cossacks? Really? And then we have to be protected. We have to be of this protected class that has to beg some king or vizier or president or mayor or whoever. We have to beg them to protect us? Or are we the Giborim, the warriors that we celebrate on Hanukkah? Which Jews are we? This is our time to, this is our choice to make right now. We want to be the downtrodden of Europe and even North Africa and even the Arab world, or do we want to be the Jews that defeated all the enemies when we came into the land? And the Jews that fought back, the few against the many that fought back the Greeks, and even the ones that revolted against the Romans, who at some level, decimated the Romans that were there, until finally the Romans kicked us out. Which Jews are we, ladies and gentlemen? We really have to decide. Do we want to be sheep or do we want to be wolves? If you guys, there was a survey made in the Pew Research Survey 2013, and they asked Jewish people all over America how they connect to their Judaism. How do they connect to their heritage? You know what the number one answer was? Remembering the Holocaust. The only thing we can connect, the only way we connect is remembering how 6 million of us were murdered. I'm not saying you have to forget it. The way you remember it is not to remember it in a way that you're connecting it to your identity and that's the only thing, or that's the main thing. The way you remember it is behaving in a way that would not allow that same event to happen again. The same goes for people yesterday at the Siyum Hashas that I mentioned. They're making a El Maleh Rachamim for the martyrs, for the Kedoshim of the Holocaust. And I'm looking at these guys, I'm saying, okay, it's nice, it's great, you're making that prayer and you're honoring these people, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm addressing you guys, you guys, the Hasidic community in Monsey, in Williamsburg, and in Borough Park, and Lakewood, and Crown Heights. I know that this is not your thing. I know that this is not your style. I know that you guys are not the same kind of Jews. Listen, I'm be frank with you guys. I love you guys, but I know you're not the same type of Jews as the ones in Judea and Samaria, as the ones in Jerusalem, in the Golan, whatever it is. I know you're not those same type of Jews. I know you guys are in the study halls. I know you guys, you're not exactly, going to the gym, working out every day. I know you guys are not those types. But you know what? This old man that has a gash in his head, and we don't even know if he's going to wake up or not, this old man who's in a hospital right now, he was in the Monsey attack, he's 71 years old, and he tried to fight back this giant, I'm sorry to say, this giant black dude who looks like he was, a linebacker in the NFL. He tried to fight back this guy with a cane. And I'm telling you guys, you young guys in Monsey and Williamsburg, and wherever else you are, in Lakewood, in Crown Heights, I'm sorry. We are done. We are done being these types of Jews. We're done being We're done being the ghetto Jew. We're done. We're finished with this. Fine. You're not ready to move to Israel? No problem. You want to stay here? Strap up. Strap up, hit the gym, like, become a man. Stop being the Woody Allen, or what I call the Hasidic Woody Allen version of a Jew. Let's show the world that we're not that Jew. That's it. That's it, friends. I mean, it doesn't get any more complicated than that. Shabbat Shalom.